700 BC, Isaiah wrote his prophecy. He wrote it for the southern kingdom, both the north and the south. He writes for Judah, for Jerusalem, the kingdom of Uzziah and Jotham and Ahaz and Hezekiah were the four kings that the prophet Isaiah tried to wake them up so that they would understand that God's punishment is near. He wanted to wake them up so they would understand that God will judge Israel because of their sin. I would like to wake up America so that they would know that God will judge them for their sin. As we look around, it is not comforting to see many of the same things are happening inside of the church, outside of the church. Many, many sinful things are happening. My wife this morning said, "Hey, Daryl, they want to make it legal, permissible for marijuana in Colorado." I said, "I thought they already made it legal." Why? Why do they do that? That's the old sign, is marijuana. You know the signs, the two signs? Marijuana and marijuana. You don't smoke enough. You would know the signs if you smoke more. Yeah. Yeah. I'm the only one who knows. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mother-in-law, her chickens used to love marijuana. Peck. Chickens had fun. Oh, yeah. And the cow and the horse. Yeah. Also called loco weed. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened.
The horse isn't walking straight. Why not? Wow. But when we see all of the sins permitted, Iowa, the deaf community around Des Moines is very, very proud that they have the two young gay men who are married now. They had their first wedding of two men. You cannot be proud of sin, And some of the people, I saw the pictures from the wedding, and I know many of those people, the young deaf leaders, are happy that the two men are married. Sin, to permit sin, is what was happening here in Isaiah. All of the people were having sin, sexual sin, worshiping idols, doing terrible, terrible things, and God warned them. God sent a prophet, Isaiah, and warned them again and again and again and again, warning the kings. What happened last week, you remember, was it 2 weeks ago? The story of Jonah. Was that last week?
That was last week.
Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jonah was sent to non-Jewish people. Jonah was sent to Nineveh, and those people decided to stop, to change from their sin, to stop, to fast, to pray for 40 days. They ate nothing. Their clothes were funeral clothes, the black, itchy goat hair clothes. And all of the people said, "Sorry, God." And south in Judah, south in that area near Jerusalem, those people ignored it. Ignored it, ignored it, ignored it. The prophet kept warning them, and they kept ignoring him. But the book of Isaiah has a lot of information about Jesus, from his birth to his cross death. That book has more information than many of the gospel writers don't have as much information or detail about Jesus' life. That's a very interesting prophecy about Jesus' birth, life, cross, death, and resurrection. Wonderful. Okay. The oldest books are not Moses' books. They are the beginning of the world, but they were written about almost 2,000 years later. After the beginning of the world, Moses wrote down from God's information, wrote down how the world began. The first man probably was Job, probably wrote before Moses wrote, probably almost 500 years before Moses. Job was writing his book called Job. And that is an interesting book. Isaiah we will do now, but later on, one of my choices for Bible study would be Job. Interesting stuff. Okay.
Got a little purple right underneath
Yeah,
that
right
tail.
under the H of Isaiah. There you go.
Yeah. Doing good. They guide me. Okay. Isaiah chapter 1 begins with the names of the 4 kings that Isaiah was warning. The 4 kings named Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. The spelling was right. Okay, look. The 4 kings were warned from Isaiah. Listen, heaven, pay attention, earth, the Lord has spoken. I raised my children. I helped them grow, but they have all rebelled against me. Oxen know their owners, and donkeys know who controls them and feeds them. But Israel doesn't know its owner. My people don't understand who feeds them. This week, did you notice in the newspaper they had the story of the bright sun spots? You know what they are? Sun, right? You have to add why do we add this? Why do we add this? What is this called? What is the sun?
Light.
What is this?
Dark.
The sun is a star, okay?
Supernova star.
No.
Almost a supernova.
Sun was star. Stars. What makes a star shine? What makes it shine? Never heard
Gases.
that. This is like a fire, right? This looks like a fire. Okay? What else shines brightly? Our friend is not here. Scott would tell us that the sun is okay. Okay? The stars have inside nuclear power. The atoms inside of the sun are splitting, and we have generation, you are older than me, so you did not have the opportunity that I had. In the 1960s, when I went to school, my mother sent me to first grade when I was 5 because she could not allow me to stay home and make her more crazy. She sent me to school when I was 5 years old, to first grade, because back then they did not have a kindergarten. I went to first grade. So I went off to school and they taught us from first grade, probably, I think we were still doing that in 4th grade. I think 1st through 4th grade, I had the opportunity
They still do that.
we were supposed to practice crawling underneath our desks because of the bombs from Russia. Yeah. Russia was going to send over the nuclear bombs to blow up all of America. So the children in America hid under the table, because a table that will stop nuclear bomb, right?
I don't think so.
No, it won't stop a nuclear bomb.
No.
Nothing can stop that.
Radiation goes through about everything. The sunshine,
Didn't you have a bomb shelter at your time?
not my
Bomb
family.
shelters?
Yeah, we were not rich. We did not have
No.
shelter.
When people were building bomb shelters.
Yes. Yeah. Rich people had bomb shelters in their home.
Oh, but I heard about one in California. They made one from a car and they put it under the ground. Without the engine and everything.
I wouldn't want to live in the car under the ground. You have to live there for almost 20 years before it is safe to go up. To live in my car for 20 years, I wouldn't want to do that myself. Big, fancy bomb shelters. There is a funny movie called Blast from the Past, where a man thought during Kennedy's missile crisis, he thought that they were going to drop the Russian bombs on America. He lived in LA and he had a huge underground shelter from the bombs. And he brought his wife and son, and they stayed there for 20 years until the son told his father, who recently had a heart attack, told his father, "I will go up," and went up to see the world. And 20 years before, he was a baby. He didn't know what the world looked like. And now he goes up and sees, terrible things are happening. He goes up and sees people, prostitutes and people who are drunk. He sees all of this happening. People who want to, who have guns. And he goes back down and he says, "Father, it is not safe up there. People have evolved and become terrible. It is a world that is just filled with trouble and sin. We don't want to go up." to stay in the underground shelter. Later, the father needs to go up for food and whatnot. He goes up and he finds that the world is not as terrible as he thought before. And there never was a nuclear war. So, but the UV radiation that you put on the walking from the sun so that you don't get all burnt. The burn, you don't want that. The eyes, you have to be careful. Wear glasses, dark glasses, and whatnot. The radiation that pours down from the sun warms our earth. Without the sunshine, we would die in a very short time. But this is very, very powerful, and the sun spots. This has become the solar flares means that the nuclear power has gone a little bit crazy. That it is spewing out nuclear power more than before. Normally, now, what does that mean? Crazy things are happening on Earth. The weather will become even more crazy than now. This controls our weather much more than driving a car and having a little bit of smoke out the tailpipe. This makes weather very confused. Which means what?
The time is short.
Who feeds you? This says Israel doesn't know who feeds them and who cares for them. Who can control the sun?
God himself.
Yeah. Not science. It cannot control the sun. The sun, only God can control the sun. And he does that for
What?
warning us. God's control of the sun means what for the farm? The snow that should be high in January,
Normally it's nothing.
yesterday, short sleeves. Don't care, go outside in short sleeves.
Come on, short.
January 28th, go outside with short sleeves on? That's crazy. No coat, no boots. Should be snow.
Yeah, normally it is.
I have to shovel snow. My shoulders What grows?
Food
Maybe.
or beer.
We, the world, have a famine, have a drought,
Or flood like last year.
drought, famine. Is that going to bother us more than shoveling snow? If I starve for 1 year, is that going to bother me more? Again, I have told you before, and I will tell you again, the American government sets aside food for 1 year. Okay? 1 year, if the weather is terrible and the growing is bad, the government has set aside food for 1 year that it can ration for the people. I am not old enough. You, some of you, are old enough to remember food rationing.
Yes,
Question.
yes,
Rationing
yes,
food.
yes.
Yeah. If a person is homeless, it means they will starve to death, right?
No, they can go to the shelter and get
Yeah, they can go to the shelter, they can go to the church, they have a food bank, they have food to distribute, places that will cook for you, places that will give you food that is not cooked, and you can eat. Today, if a person is starving to death in America, it is because they don't want to look for food, because there's a lot of food out there. Many places are willing to give you food. Lutherans have a food bank.
two of them.
Our Savior
Hope.
Lutheran Church.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yep, and New Hope, that is from Hope Lutheran Church. New Hope is on the north side, and Our Savior is on the south side, right? And the two food banks, if you are hungry, you go in and say, I lost my job, I can't feed my family, what to do, and they will give you a sack of food. And truly, I know that people don't starve to death in America unless they really don't know where to find free food in many places.
All they have to do is ask around.
Does that mean that in our few years, God is going to change our world?
Possible.
It is possible. Because the people don't know who feeds them. If I go to North Omaha, if I ask a little boy, if I ask him, where is milk from? He will tell me,
A cow.
the store. Go to the store, you can buy milk. Where is bread from? Oh, the store. You go to the store and you buy bread. Yeah. My wife was very disappointed. We had bean soup last week with homemade rye bread. And her homemade bread did not raise because her yeast was dead.
Oh no.
So,
My wife said I have not made homemade bread in so long that the yeast had died. And I told her, buy new yeast, but make more bread. Bread does not come from a store. You have a sack of flour. It can be wheat or rye. I like rye. The one lady from Des Moines, really from Pella, the most delicious rye bread. Her name, you know, the deaf lady named Ruby Vander Hart. You know her?
Name familiar.
Ruby Vander Hart.
Name familiar.
Short lady. And she would always bring rye, Dutch rye bread for the potluck. Delicious. But her cooking, she knew where the bread was from. Children today don't know. Yesterday, I saw a show on TV. People that were trying to live like 1800s. People who were in the cabin who had to shoot a bear because that was meat for the winter. The family will not live if the husband cannot go out and